There's Archie Colgan, who returns to action on March 31st at Bellator 293. Archie, how are you?
I'm doing well, Alex. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm very happy to be talking with you, man. You're about 15 days out. How you feeling?
hmm I feel great. I'm peaking right at the right time. My cardio is good. Weight's good. Um, and yeah, I feel good. Body's on point. Like I'm just excited to get out there and compete.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Before we talk about your upcoming fight, I wanted to go back to Bellator 288, man. Less than a minute. You made it look easy. I
Yeah.
did. Was there anything? Was there? I mean, and you know, it was less than a minute. So, was there anything that you took from that fight?
Um, Man, honestly, I think in that fight I did what I was supposed to do. That guy respects him as a fighter and everything, but he's just not on my level as a competitor or a fighter. So I did what I was supposed to do. It was quicker than I also thought it was going to be, but I went out there and did what I was supposed to do. Now the biggest takeaway from that fight was that going back and watching it, I think after I took him down and I was landing those shots, um, I think those ones hurt, but the initial shot that like made him ball up and go down, that one was like on the top of the forehead. That was more intimidation than it actually hurt. So my biggest takeaway from that fight was that my presence, my pressure is just intimidating, and that people don't expect me to get from where I was inside to their face how fast I do. They don't expect how explosive I am, and my constant pressure, intimidation, is a big factor that I need to continue to carry and hone in as I build my career.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a perfect next performance. Kind of showcase like damn, this dude's dangerous. Like
Yeah.
it really showed. What going leading up to Bellator 293, was it the perfect amount of time off, or did you even want to get in sooner?
Honestly, I was trying to get on that Fedor card because who wouldn't? My goodness, that one pulled all the eyes. Everybody in MMA was watching that one. So ideally, that's what I wanted to, because that would have been two back-to-back huge cards for me. I was on the Corey Anderson one, and then which was two world title fights, and this one also had two world title fights. So I was trying to get on both of them, but beggars can't be choosers. So I was trying for that February card. Obviously that didn't work out, but yeah, this is great too. I got to enjoy a little downtime, enjoy the holidays with my family, my son, my wife, enjoy Christmas and stuff. So that was awesome, and I'm happy with the timeline of this.
Gotcha. Well, let's talk about it, dude. Finding Justin Montalvo, undefeated fighter. You're undefeated, so someone's O has got to
Yeah,
go. Um,
yeah,
what do you think of the matchup?
I love it. I called for this one really. After my last fight, the two fights that I called for was I knew that Bellator was going to Dublin, so I asked for Peter Queally, which would be awesome. Go fly out to Dublin and fight. Didn't get that one, but I also asked for Montalvo, which is a fight that I was prior supposed to have on my Bellator debut in July. I got it. I'm happy with it. I'm excited for it.
What about the matchup? We talked a little bit before about it, in 2022 before it got
Yeah,
canceled. But is your thoughts the same on him as an opponent?
yeah, it is. I think he displays some good qualities. But there's also some openings that are just like obvious, like he allows himself to get punched. He allows himself to get taken down. He allows people to back him up. So those are all matching good qualities, I believe, for myself. And there's other things that, he does really well too. Punches the body, attacks to the head. He has good cardio. He's not just gonna die out. He's not afraid. It's a good fight. I like it. I'm excited for it. He's 5-0 with 4 finishes. I'm 6-0 with 5 finishes. Like why wouldn't I want this one?
On paper, it's a very, very fun fight. and then just on paper too, it's like two big world-class gyms going at it. And it's always
Yeah.
fascinating to see to see that, man. So I mean, at the end of the day, March 31st, how do you get your hand raised?
With a finish of some sort. And I've said this, and I'm not going to say that, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna put on a striking clinic and just finish this guy. I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna go take this guy down. I'm gonna ground and pound him or choke him out. I believe that it's gonna take some work. I think he's a tough competitor, and he's gonna want to fight, and it's gonna take some work. But that's not saying that I can't get it done in one or two or three. But I do believe within 15 minutes I will get the finish. I will have my hand raised. I will leave 7-0 with 6 finishes.
Who are some of your training partners this time around? Same crew?
Yeah, same crew. I was actually, fortunately for me, like, well, all of us really is, Justin Camaro and I were all in camp together. So, before I got to help them with their camps, they got to help me with my camps. But now we were like, in this together. We're in the thick of it together. We're all dying together. It all sucks together. We're all pushing each other, so it's been great. Like, I couldn't have asked for, a better lineup of camp. I also got, teammate Rafa Garcia, who's also one of my main training partners, training with him a lot. And he's got Clay Guida coming up in April. He's 2 weeks after me. I'm 2 weeks after Justin and Kamaro. Like, we were all in the thick of it together. It's amazing. Handful of other people that, that are also in camp and or have fights, but it's been great. My camp's been good. And yeah, who can ask for a better camp partner than them guys?
Does it make it easier knowing that they're going through hell like you during camp?
Yeah, for sure. For them, they're like 2 weeks ahead of me. So like on camp track, they should be a little bit in better shape than I am. You know, so like, yeah, for sure, it's definitely nice. But sometimes, you're just pushing together, you're grinding together, but that like everybody's kind of in the suck of it together. Everybody's calories are coming down. Everybody's tired. Everybody's body hurt. Like that part is nice, and everybody is coming in there super competitive and doesn't want to lose. So then everybody is forced to forget about the sore pains, all of that stuff, and just get better.
How has it been sparring with Justin Gaethje? Because I've heard from Dober, I've heard from Rafa, like it's not fun. It's not fucking fun.
Justin's the shit. The first time I ever sparred him was before my amateur debut, and actually it was that was the first time I ever met him. He came in and just did a private spar with me because my coach asked him to. It was dope with him, and training with him, I learned so much from, you know, landing shots, obviously, but getting landed on. He hits you with something, you're like, damn. I Sometimes you know exactly why you got hit, sometimes you don't, and he's the shit for like breaking it down later, and sometimes we watch film together, and he was like, hey, that's why. And sometimes you know it right away. You're like, damn, my left hand came down, or bang, my right leg didn't move, and that's why he chopped it down. Whatever it is, sometimes you know right away, and sometimes you don't. And that's great with going like an experienced guy like that, who's he sees shots so well, and he counter shots well, he defends himself so well. Like, it's great for that experience. But yeah, Justin spars. Let me tell the world real quick. Justin spars.
um, what do you want your 2023 to look like, man? Like, what are some goals that you're setting for yourself?
Well, I'd like to be a finisher. Finishers get paid. Um, Finishes are exciting. People want to tune in to watch a guy, finish him. So I want to continue to get finishes. I'm 6-0 now. On this schedule, I believe I'll get another 3 fights in this year. So that would be ending the year 9-0, 8 finishes, ideally, and a crack inside of that top 10.
Mm-hmm.
That would be 23 for me.
I like it, man. I like it. And finally, I just wanted your opinion. There are a lot of, as a credentialed wrestler yourself, there are a lot of wrestlers, college wrestlers come into MMA. It seems like Jordan Oliver just signed with Bellator. Bo Nickal is doing his thing in the UFC. I want to know, What do you think Bo Nickal's ceiling is?
Um, man, well, Bo Nickal is about as good as you can get at college wrestling, right? There's a few more guys that have, I think Bo Nickal's a three-time NCAA champion. There's a few guys that got four, and there's a couple of guys that are like right above that. But of college wrestlers in himself are the 0.001% of wrestlers. And then he becomes the 0.00001%. Like he's an exceptional wrestler, obviously. So that is going to be a problem for everybody. He's transitioned to grappling obviously really well with his triangle submissions and head and arm triangle. So he's doing really good. Obviously, he needs to work on his striking and continue to keep that at least sharp enough to defend from striking, so he can get to what he needs. But the freaking ceiling is super high, obviously.
Do you think he'll become champion?
I think it's likely. I think if like lined up correctly and continue to do things like on the right timeline, right opponents at the right time and stuff, it for sure is likely. Um, but there's also some other matchups that could be super tough, like guys who are just good at defending wrestling, but they got hands.
Mhm.
That's a dangerous one right now. But I think the UFC will do a good job of like making sure that when he's ready for those challenges, that he'll get those. But we'll see. Fighting's freaking crazy, so anything can happen. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
yeah, absolutely, man. And I guess just like, lastly on this is like, why do you think more college wrestlers are coming over to MMA? Do you think it's just like they've hit their peak in wrestling, right? Like, you go to college and then if you're good enough, you go to Olympics, right? But like other than that, what do you do, right? So
Yeah.
is it kind of like a just a perfect transition, or do you see something like what do you think? Why are there more and more college wrestlers coming over to MMA?
Well, I think the obvious one is that you can watch other wrestlers have so much success. You know, like you're watching these guys, you're like, dang. If you go into weight classes, 125 through heavyweight, and you just look at the people who are within the top 10 in almost all organizations, maybe except for one FC, just because they're, outside of the US a little bit. So they don't have as much American talent, which is a lot of wrestlers from America, obviously. But, almost every weight class has at least one or two guys in the top 10 who was an ex wrestler. And not all of them 90%, 95% of those wrestlers were not the best wrestler when they were wrestlers. You know, they were not the who's who. Daniel Cormier, amazing wrestler, did not beat Cael Sanderson, who was the best wrestler at the time. All right. Um, Henry Cejudo actually was the best wrestler. His is a little different. Henry Cejudo actually was the best wrestler. So his is a little bit different. But Justin Gaethje,
Right.
he was not the best wrestler. I think he got seventh place. He was not the best wrestler. Amazing fighter. Michael Chandler was not the best wrestler. Amazing fighter. You know, and that's 55 right there. And just look at these guys. That's why is because the disciplines that make people good wrestlers, showing up, working hard, repetition, will translate well if you can continue to carry that over into MMA.
Hmm. Well, thank you so much for letting me pick your brain about it. It's always so fascinating to hear from other credentialed wrestlers, man. So thank you for that, and thank you so much for your time, Archie. I really appreciate it, man. If you want to plug your social media, plug any sponsors you might have, and if you want to thank anybody, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, so social media is King_Colgan, Colgan. That's just my last name. Some sponsors that I have for this event is Endurance Roofing, great roofing company out here in Colorado. DNA Vibe, which is a red light therapy. All fighters should check that out at least. DNA Vibe is red light therapy company. One of the best. Man, actually, I got it right here. Right, one of the best recovery tools that I have. Right, I keep it with me everywhere I go with it. Everywhere I go, really portable, really easy to use. And then I got some other sponsors that are great in helping prove great to this fight.